Jeffrey unabashedly loved music.
He lived, ate, breathed music more than anybody that I ever knew.
He was also very particular about the sounds he wanted.
People wanted to sing their best for Jeffrey.
Jeffry Jahn rehearsals were incredibly amusing.
It was that fun that really set him apart.
He had a very, 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 very quick mind, and one word could trigger a monologue or a dance or a song or a quotation from a movie or a TV show that he saw.
He was always doing funny things, out of the box things, things often that I would say sometimes maybe embarrassed us a little bit that were around him, because he just he never worried about what somebody else was thinking about what he was doing or quoting or singing or anything like that.
Years ago, there was the time when he just, all of a sudden he was Elvis Presley and he was dancing in front of us, and it was the best Elvis imitation I've ever seen.
Written in the margins of a million pieces of music and folders everywhere across Tucson are what we call Jeffreyisms. Things he would say that, he'd pull out some obscure reference from The Simpsons or from marching band or something he saw on TV or some other thing that you wouldn't think would be apropos to what you were singing. And he would he would nail it. He would nail it, exactly what he wanted from you.
He would have us ask us to sing coquettishly.
He stood tall by his stand, and as he's conducting, he yells, "It's not loud, it's ha!"
He would tell the altos to go down to the cellar and bring up the richest Merlot that you can find.
You know what? I bet the organist is lost because he's not playing with them. Why are they singing this all by themselves? Look, he's turning the pages. Now he's looking at the conductor. I bet you he's lost. Okay? And then all of a sudden he plays this nice little interlude and it's just, everyone sing. Here we go. It's Mitch Miller and the gang. Follow the bouncing ball.
He said, "Tenors, remember, you are the lowest and the largest Andrew's sister."
Come on, basses, it's not happy hour yet.
We were singing some long piece. It was a very long piece. And the energy would start to flag about 3/4 of the way in. And he said, "This is the part in the piece where you just want to stop at Stuckey's for a nut log."
In addition to a great musician, and I mean no disrespect by this, he was also a great showman. He put on a wonderful musical performance and a wonderful visual performance for the audience. It wasn't just for the audience, though. It was also for the singers. What he did to express the meaning of the music, the character of the music, to get that across to the singers. He was a great communicator.
But with Jeffrey, you knew if you stayed focused on him, he was going there with you, he was taking you there.
He was enchanted with the thought about the transience and the immediacy of live performances and how much more magical and transcendental they are than recordings. And I know it's because he just loved the tangible electricity and the energy that went between us and the audience.
I always felt sorry for our audiences, that they were not getting what we were getting. I mean, it was plenty great, I'm sure, from the back, with the magnificent arm movements, and you could probably call it interpretive dance. There was no other word for that. He was so expressive. But what we were getting personally from his face, from his lips, his eyes, his hands, was just so varied and so wonderful. He had this Elvis hip thing he would do in some of the gospels, spirituals that we would sing. He had this hip that he would raise if your pitch was sagging. He was great. He gave you everything. Entrances, exits, tone, rhythm, dynamics, and sometimes I think the most sublime moments, he would stop conducting completely, except with maybe one finger, and close his eyes and bliss out, and just let you sing. And that was wonderful, wonderful moment, because you knew he was really soaking it, and he was really enjoying it too, as much as you were.
They would have a fall retreat, and they invited me several times just to listen in, and sat there and watched as he would put people together in different sections and try different combinations and so on until he got the sound he wanted.
And to be able to hear the individual voices in the midst of the whole. I mean, other than just voices that stick out. He knew everybody's voice. He knew exactly where to put them in the choir so that it created the sound that he wanted. And people that aren't in the choral world deeply don't understand how much difference it makes if the two people are standing here or one of them stands on the other side of somebody else, and you make those small minor adjustments, what seem to be minor adjustments, and how much difference it makes in the sound of the choir. And he knew where everybody needed to be.
When we started the retreats, they were weekend events, and they were absolutely a blast. We would the time spent singing around the campfire at night, something we would never dream we were doing together, added so much to our relationship with each other and with Jeffrey. We would see different sides of each other and be able to socialize and party a little bit, and little groups would form in somebody's room, and they were wonderful.
I think he really was committed to ARS being a family.
He made every person feel that we were personally important to him, not only as a musician, but as a friend. And then he always managed to communicate that in rehearsal or in concert, and make some kind of eye contact with everyone, and somehow convey his appreciation for what we have done as singers or as a section. And he would smile right after he'd made that eye contact. You'd know he was talking to you. He'd smile, and sometimes he would just clutch his chest in a swoon of appreciation. And I have to admit, I would never tell him this, but every now and then I miss the next couple notes because I was kind of verklempt.
Messiah Singin' is one, and he was just thrilled to do that. Conducting, sometimes he had a little bit of a wish that he had gone into orchestral conducting. He loved doing that. He loves conducting the orchestra. And so when he had the chance to do that and put it together and conduct the orchestra along with the mass chorus and work with the soloists, and that was just really exciting for him.
The last rehearsal that we had with him, we sang a passage, and he said, "Well, that was good for a community chorus. How about we do it like ARS now?" And so we had really high expectations artistically for a group of, volunteer singers from various backgrounds with various degrees of capability. But he always wanted more. And he treated us like the Dale Worland Singers. And he wanted to do that rep. And he didn't see why we shouldn't do that rep.
Aside from ARS, his legacy is the love and the joy that he left in all the people that he worked with.